We will start the Assembly Natural Resources as a subcommittee. I will make the announcements later when there's actually all the members here, but we will start and hear Ms. Atkins.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I'm here today to present AB 2707, and this bill is an outgrowth of the recent Paris climate talks and calls on the California Air Resources Board to conduct a study that outlines the best practices, programs, and policies to aid in meeting California's goals to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. As you know, when I, along with the governor, the pro tem, and other Assembly and Senate colleagues were in Paris last December, we witnessed the forging of an international agreement whereby nations from across the globe pledged to work together to combat climate change and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The Under 2 Memorandum of Understanding is a key component of this overall international effort. The MOU is targeted at coordinating the climate change actions that so-called subnationals, states, cities, and other local governments can undertake in the areas of energy, transportation, natural resource protection, waste reduction, and science and technology to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Over 100 government entities from across the United States and the world signed the Under 2 MOU, including the state of California and a number of California's cities. AB 2702 simply asked the Air Resources Board to produce a study, a clearinghouse or a compilation of sorts, which outlines the best practices, programs, and policies across a range of areas that California's cities, and for that matter, other signatories to the MOU can use to guide their actions to achieve significant greenhouse gas emission reductions in their effort to comply under 2 MOU. I would ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? Witnesses with testimony neither in support nor opposition? Would you like to close?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I would just say we have done a lot, and there's a lot of information out there to compile. We want to see it in one place so that we can help jurisdictions begin to implement under the MOU. Ask for your aye vote.
And thank you for your leadership last year in particular, and that you are continuing to work on the issue.
Thank you.
And we will take a motion when there is quorum.
Thank you.
Ms. Burke? Oh. Ms. Burke. I knew my gut was right.
Is your staff? No. Oh, I do it myself. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. This is the 40th anniversary of the passage of the Coastal Act. For the last 4 decades, the Coastal Act has done its job of protecting public access, scenic views, coastal agriculture, and open space throughout California's 1,100 miles of coastal zone. And until 1981, the Coastal Act did an amazing job of protecting and providing affordable housing too. When the legislature passed the Coastal Act back in 1976, it originally contained language that protected affordable housing, and Coastal Commission developed significant guidelines which stated, meaningful access to the coast requires housing opportunities as well as other forms of coastal access. If the coast is not excluded from less affluent members of society and become an exclusive enclave of the wealthy, affordable housing must be protected, encouraged, and where feasible provided. As a result of these policies, approximately 5,000 affordable housing units were approved between 1976 and 1981. But unfortunately, in 1981, the Coastal Act was amended and removed the affordable housing portion. The rest, as we say, is history. Only 1,000 of the original 5,000 approved affordable housing units were built, and now we're grappling with an affordable housing shortage that has reached crisis levels. Nowhere is the shortage more acute than in the coastal zone. And my district in particular is home of some of the hottest spots in the coastal zone, including Venice. AB 2616 will not solve all of California's housing problems, but is a step in the right direction, protecting affordable housing as intended by reinstating the original language from the Coastal Act. This bill also specifies that the Commission can consider matters of environmental justice when taking action on permits and other matters. 2616 makes it explicit that the California's environmental justice policy also applies to commission decisions. To ensure that these issues are given appropriate consideration and disadvantaged communities have a voice. AB 2616 also adds 3 new appointees to the commission, 1 each from the governor, the speaker, and Senate Rules Committee, who work directly with disadvantaged communities burdened by high levels of pollution and environmental justice issues. These additional commissioners will heighten the awareness and dialogue regarding environmental justice on the commission and make sure that access to the coast is equal for all Californians, not just a few. AB 2616 fulfills the complete mission of the Coastal Act to provide meaningful coastal access to all people, regardless of class, color, or socioeconomic status. With me today are the Coastal Commission's Legislative Director, Sarah Christie, and Anya, the lawyer from Western Center on Law and Poverty. I respectfully request an aye vote.
I think you're familiar with the committee rules. It's 2 minutes, 3 witnesses. 2 minutes each.
Is this on?
You don't have to split.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. My name is Sarah Christie. I'm the Commission's Legislative Director, and I just want to expand a little bit on Assemblymember Burke's history of the affordable housing policies in the coastal zone. 40 years ago, the drafters of the Coastal Act understood that escalating land values along the California coast were making it increasingly difficult for people of modest means to live there. That's why they included language in the law that directed the Commission to protect, encourage, and provide low and moderate income housing opportunities. As originally enacted, Section 30213 of the Coastal Act provided lower cost visitor and recreational facilities and housing opportunities for persons of low and moderate income shall be protected, encouraged, and where feasible, provided. And as the author stated, from 76 to 81, the Commission implemented this policy through interpretive guidelines that defined low and moderate income households as anyone earning up to 120% of the median income, which included about 2/3 of California households at the time. The Commission considered density bonuses, reduced parking requirements, in lieu fees, land dedications, and housing credits as tools to accomplish this objective in their permit actions. But as a general rule, larger projects were required to provide 25% of affordable units on site. Applicants could make the case for specific projects to provide fewer units, but otherwise these inclusionary units had to be built and maintained as affordable housing with resale controls to ensure their continued affordability. Under the Commission's initial authority, our inclusionary housing program resulted in the approval of approximately 5,000 affordable units. Before the law was changed, approximately 1,000 units were actually constructed, $2 million in lieu fees were collected, and more than 1,100 existing affordable units were protected from demolition. Today, the demand for affordable housing stock statewide far outstrips demand both inside and outside the coastal zone. Although the Mello bill that amended the Coastal Act required the provision of new affordable units within 3 miles of the coastal zone, it's not clear how consistently this has been followed, and the prospect of living anywhere near the coast gets more and more difficult to attain. We're now witnessing an alarming rate of neighborhood conversions from relatively modest, mixed-income communities to extremely high-end second and third home investment-driven communities. AB 2616 simply reinstates the original Coastal Act language that was removed in 1981.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. The Commission voted last week to unanimously support this bill.
Great. And we are going to take a roll, so we have quorum.
Williams?
Here.
Williams here. Jones? Garcia? Gomez? Hadley? Here. Hadley here. Harper? Present. Harper present. McCarty? Stone? Here. Stone here. Wood? Here. Wood here. 5. We have a quorum.
Please continue.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Anya Lawler on behalf of Western Center on Law and Poverty. Restoring the Coastal Commission's authority to affirmatively promote the development of affordable housing is long overdue. As I'm sure you're all well aware, California has a persistent affordable housing crisis that has grown exponentially in recent years. There's not a single county in the state of California that has enough affordable units to meet the needs of lower income residents, but nowhere is this crisis more acute than in coastal areas. As has already been mentioned, the language that is looking to be put back into the Coastal Act here, when it was stripped out, it was replaced with the Mellow Act, which has been a pretty weak replacement. The Mellow Act requires the replacement of affordable units in the coastal zone, but when all you're doing is maintaining a supply that's already woefully inadequate, that's not enough. This bill would give the Coastal Commission the tools to help expand the supply of affordable housing along the coast, ensuring that development along the coast meets the needs of residents at all income levels. We thank Assemblymember Burke for bringing this forward and urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Williams, members of the committee. Amy Traynor with the California Coastal Protection Network, here in strong support of this bill. One of the great things about this bill is it's very long overdue to add in an environmental justice component to the Coastal Act. Many people already consider the Coastal Act as a social justice law because of the way it protects public access for all Californians. But by adding in this environmental justice definition as a Chapter 3 policy specifically, we're going to be able to ensure that in all permitting and planning, deliberations, discussions, and decisions, the Coastal Commission has to consider environmental justice. I know this is hugely important to so many of my friends and colleagues. We think this is a great bill. We're in strong support and respectfully urge your aye vote.
Other witnesses in support?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Quentin Foster on behalf of the California Environmental Justice Alliance. We applaud the author for bringing this bill forward. Look forward to working with her to ensure that these appointments do represent environmental justice communities, and ask for your aye vote. Thank you. And we are supporting the bill.
Further witnesses, just your name, affiliation, and your sport. We have 29 bills here today, folks.
Juan Altamirano on behalf of Aruan, California, in strong support.
Kyle Jones with Sierra Club, California, in support.
Kelly Doe on behalf of California League of Conservation Voters, in support.
Phoebe Sean, Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability, in support.
Marcela Gutierrez Graudin, Ciudad Azul, strong support.
Jennifer Savage, Surfrider Foundation, in support.
Witnesses in opposition? Witnesses with testimony neither in support nor opposition? To the committee. Stone.
Thank you, and I appreciate you bringing this forward. I'm a co-author, so you know that I support the work that you're representing here. I think there is one issue I think we need to talk further about, and that's the number of commissioners adding 3. I completely agree with what you're trying to do there. As it comes up, though, back when the Coastal Act was first passed and put together, there was a bit of a compromise done, which is why there are the number of commissioners there are. And local jurisdictions wanted representation on there. So if we can figure out how to accomplish our goals, because I share your goal, without unnecessarily diluting the makeup. I think that's something to think about as the bill moves forward.
And we have talked with California State Association of Counties last week, and we asked them to bring forward amendment. The only thing I asked of them when they bring forward that amendment is that the environmental justice component is somewhere taken in consideration into that amendment. And that's all we're asking. We all have the same goal here. We just need to figure out how to get there.
No, and I completely agree with you that making sure that there are certain appointees who come actually out of the environmental justice movement. We have not, and I say this a lot, we really, in the environmental movement, have not incorporated the language, the perspectives, the real needs of our poorest communities and those for whom we're trying to do some strong environmental justice work. But other than that, I appreciate the goals of this bill. It was frustrating sitting on the commission and seeing the lack of affordable housing, the lack of affordable visitor serving across California, and not being able to do anything to really push jurisdictions to make sure that happened. And we were stuck with local policies, whatever they happen to be, and they're very inconsistent across the state. The hallmark of the Coastal Act is that consistency, and yet implemented at a local level, which is really unique. So thank you for bringing it forward, and I'll move passage of this bill.
Thank you.
There's a motion by Stone, and I'll second that. I noticed when I was a city council member that it looked, at least according to our zoning staffers, that it was considered visitors serving to have $200 a night hotels, but not considered consistent with the Coastal Act to have housing in our coastal zone, even if that was affordable housing. And so I think that's obviously an oversimplification of the problem, and I think this bill goes a long way to make sure that our policies are as progressive as possible. I agree that the Coastal Act is inherently a progressive document because it does provide access to the coast regardless of the income level or regardless of the geography of folks in the state. My district turns into the backyard of half the state during the summer, and that's the way it should be. As much as sometimes locals will grumble about it, that's the way it should be because the coast belongs to everyone. But there's no place that poverty can sometimes feel so acute as next to affluence, as particularly when that affects your cost of living and rents and cost of housing. And so I really appreciate you doing this bill. I do think that you should consider doing something a little different with the appointees, whether that's a criteria applied to each one of the four that each agency appoints or some other mechanism. But of course, I would hope that sometimes there's more than three that would come from this kind of background on the Coastal Commission. Other comments or questions from the committee? Mr. Hadley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for bringing the bill forward. I do share the concerns that have been expressed by a couple of my colleagues. The current membership of the board is a balance between local and state appointees, and I think that we can both maintain that balance and include environmental justice concerns in that. So I understand it sounds like you're looking forward to seeing amendment language or proposed amendment language for you to consider?
I am. I'm looking forward to seeing language, and I have faith in our locals that they have the same goals we do for the coast, and that we can find some sort of situation that works best for everyone and that balance. At the same time, like I said, I do think it's incredibly important that whatever those appointments look like, that environmental justice is part of that conversation, but I have every intention of working that out.
Okay. Thank you.
Other comments and questions from the dais? With that, would you like to close?
First of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Chair, for your comments. I truly appreciate them. I want to thank Assemblymember Stone for his support moving forward. I know that a lot of people do come to your district and it is their backyard. However, in my district, I have large communities, almost a quarter of my district, that the kids there have never seen the ocean. They live 20 minutes away and they've never seen it. So access for minorities and low-income communities to the coast is tremendously important. It has always been the goal of the Coastal Commission, and we just want to make sure that they have all the authority to continue to do that. I respectfully request an aye vote.
Chair's recommendation is aye. Please call the roll.
The motion is due pass, and we refer to appropriations. Williams?
Aye.
Williams, aye. Jones?
No.
Jones, no. Garcia?
Aye.
Garcia, aye. Gomez? Hadley?
Not voting.
Hadley not voting. Harper?
No.
Harper, no. McCarty? Stone?
Aye.
Stone, aye. Wood?
Aye.
Wood, aye.
4-0. We'll leave the roll open.
I think I stay.
Thank you.
I won't.
Oh, that's right.
I'm just kidding. You're not.
She's got one more.
Yeah. I'll start while they're. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I would like to start by accepting the amendments outlined in the analysis and thank the Chair and his staff for working with my office on this issue. Throughout our state, millions of Californians are exposed to pollution, causing significant health impacts, specifically in low-income, disadvantaged communities and communities of color. Our state has been a strong leader in the fight against climate change and reducing pollution. AB 2722 is a step to ensure that we leave no community behind. Assembly Bill 2722 was crafted with multiple partners in response to the governor's budget to establish a program that supports local climate action in disadvantaged communities. AB 2722 creates a comprehensive approach to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by investing $250 million through grants in different disadvantaged communities most burdened and vulnerable to high levels of pollution. This bill establishes the Transformative Climate Communities Program administered by the Strategic Growth Council to ensure that California is making investments that reduce greenhouse gases and also demonstrates co-benefits for the economy, workforce, and the health of California's most vulnerable communities. As a part of the Transformative Climate Communities program to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, we want to ensure the public is involved and is significantly in these programs. Therefore, eligibility and titles for these grants must demonstrate multiple stakeholder partnerships with local agencies, community-based organizations, labor groups, and workforce investment boards. While these grants are intended to reduce greenhouse gases, we also want to see economic benefits for the people living within these communities through the high-quality, well-paid employment opportunities and benefits for small businesses and businesses owned by disabled veterans, minorities, women, and members of the LGBT community. This program will help cities, local jurisdictions, and communities by making a direct investment in the residents most impacted by pollution and will significantly help California to meet our climate change goals. With me today are the sponsors of the members of California Environmental Justice Alliance and Greenlining Institute. I respectfully request an aye vote.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Assembly members, for allowing the chance to talk, and thank you for your leadership on this bill, Assemblymember Burke. My name is Amy Vanderwalker. I'm the co-director of the California Environmental Justice Alliance, CEJA. CEJA is a statewide coalition of community-based organizations with 11 members and partners representing approximately 20,000 residents in low-income communities and communities of color highly impacted by pollution and poverty. There is an environmental health and justice crisis in California where approximately 20% of state residents live in are highly impacted and suffer health consequences from levels of pollution, and most of these people are low-income communities and communities of color. Compounding these already existing environmental justice issues are the growing impacts of climate change and the climate gap. Low-income communities and communities of color are already being hit first and worst by changing weather patterns and have the fewest resources to adapt. Climate change, combined with the legacy of environmental justice issues, requires innovative solutions. It's critical that we advance projects that have multiple benefits and use an integrated framework to create solutions. AB 2722's proposed Transformative Climate Communities program would do just that. AB 2722 builds off the work that communities across California have been doing, using this kind of holistic approach to tackle longstanding environmental health and justice issues while addressing the challenge of climate change. From passing new land use policies that promote equitable low greenhouse gas development patterns to developing affordable housing with renewable energy near transportation, there are community-led solutions across the state that can be lifted up and expanded. AB 2722 will support community-level plans that contain integrated projects that accomplish multiple benefits and add up to a truly transformative impact. By funding these kinds of comprehensive projects, there's a ripple effect that goes beyond any anticipated outcomes, building long-term social cohesion while meeting specific environmental and climate goals. AB 2722 creates a new mechanism to link climate investments directly to local concerns, solutions, and ideas. Authentic community engagement is at the heart of this program, working in coordination with a range of stakeholders who are needed to make this successful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I urge your aye vote.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the time and for allowing me to provide comments in support of AB 2722. I'm Alvaro Sanchez, Director of Environmental Equity at the Greenlining Institute. The Greenlining Institute is a 23-year-old research, advocacy, and leadership institute working for racial and economic justice. California cities have invested significant resources to develop climate action plans that address pressing local environmental concerns. And in some cases, community-based organizations are leading the way crafting these plans. However, cities currently lack the financial capacity to be able to actually invest in these plans and carry them through and do the implementation work that's necessary to address climate action plans at a holistic, multi-level, multi-approach phase. Funding, access to capital are major barriers to implementation, and many times this is as a result of emerging technologies and practices that may have higher first costs that do not meet standard return on investments. New innovative technologies can also add a risk premium to projects that result in higher project costs, and most projects are not integrated or optimized to meet the multiple goals, leaving significant benefits and savings off the table. A program that provides critical upfront financing to accelerate the implementation of neighborhood-scale sustainability plans is currently lacking. AB 2722 addresses this key barrier by creating a state-funded program that aligns with emerging work at the neighborhood level that can accelerate sustainability activities, coordinating and streamlining funding for multiple coordinated projects that are implemented at the neighborhood scale. Currently, greenhouse gas reduction programs are not required or designed to leverage funding from each other or to create a simple, streamlined process to fund multiple projects in one location. This means that if a community has plans to invest in a coordinated way in public transit, urban forestry, active transportation, and renewable energy, they would have to apply to several different agencies. AB 2722 will streamline this process by creating one program that can fund these multiple approaches, therefore reducing the administrative cost of applying for funding and maximizing the impact of these public dollars. We anticipate that the neighborhood scale approaches to sustainability funded via AB 2722 will be able to leverage large amounts of private capital, given the fact that currently GGRF programs are leveraging private capital at $3 to 1. This provides these cities with the necessary funding resources to implement large visions that will transform their community. And for that reason, I encourage or I vote.
Other witnesses in support? Just state your name, your organization, and your support.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. Rico Mastrodonato with the Trust for Public Land. In support. Appreciate the planning in the bill as well. Thank you.
Juan Altamirano on behalf of Audubon, California, in support.
Corey Bullis on behalf of California Relief, in support.
Katrina Robinson on behalf of Valley Clean Air Now and Fresno Economic Opportunity Council, in support.
Hi, Parin Shah on behalf of APAN, in support.
Good afternoon, Danielle Lynch on behalf of the California Association of Local Conservation Corps, in support.
Claire Scott on behalf of the Los Angeles Neighborhood Land Trust, in support.
Shauna Lazaro on behalf of Communities for a Better Environment, in support.
Marcela Gutierrez Graudich with Azul, in support.
Nikita Daryanani, Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability, in support.
Amy Trainer with the California Coastal Protection Network, in support.
Baldev Singh, Sacramento Regional Conservation Co., in support.
Quentin Foster on behalf of Conservation League of California Voters, in support.
Witnesses in opposition? Witnesses with testimony neither in support nor opposition to the committee. Motion by Wood, second by Stone. As the other fiscal bills were dealt with, we have asked the author, and the author has agreed to remove, though with guidance, the fiscal component of the bill, but the bill's intent is preserved. And the motion is due pass to appropriations. Any other comments or questions from the committee? Due pass is amended to appropriations. Would you like to close?
I respectfully request an aye vote.
Thank you. Chair's recommendation is aye. Please call the roll.
Due pass is amended and we refer to appropriations. Williams?
Aye.
Williams, aye. Jones?
No.
Jones, no. Garcia? Garcia, aye. Gomez? Hadley? No. Hadley, no. Harper? McCarty? Stone? Aye. Stone, aye. Wood? Aye. Wood, aye.
42, we'll leave that open.
Thank you.
Mr. Quirk. There are some announcements. The following bills are proposed for consent. Item number 9, 2206. Item number 10,